The opinions in this podcast are all our own.
But the businesses are real chamber members.
It's a chamber chat.
Coming to you from Wahoo, Nebraska. Chamber Chat with Kate
And Kat.
Welcome to Chamber Chat with Kate.
And Kat. I'm Catherine Nygren, owner of Fountain Flora Flower Shop.
And I'm Kate DeCoste, owner of Kate DeCoste Photography. This podcast is everything Wahoo Chamber of Commerce.
Well, Kate, we have a couple guests in the studio today.
We do. Hello.
Hello. Hi, how are you guys?
Yes, got to make sure you have the microphone up. I know it's weird.
Yeah. So in light of Memorial Day just happening, we've got Quinn McGill, the cemetery supervisor, and Jason Blackwell, a cemetery committee member with us.
Yeah, thank you again for making the little trip.
Yeah, the trip across town.
Yeah.
Down a couple
Thank you guys
blocks.
for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
So it's been a busy time for you guys. Memorial Day is probably the biggest time, would you say, for cemetery activity, or is it just kind of busy all year long?
I'd say just based off the amount of people that we saw over the last month or so, I'd say it has to be up there with one of the most, if not by far the most. It's pretty crazy how many people come out to decorate their loved ones. So
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yep, would agree with Quinn. This Mother's Day, but Memorial Day is definitely the largest influx of folks, and then there's a lot of prep work and things that go into that from the community perspective. So
Right.
Yep.
I always feel like I always go out there like starting like Mother's Day-ish around like right before to like get things, you're like, okay, it's not winter anymore.
The planters.
Like,
we're
not gonna have any more frost, so I can plant. And I did notice I felt like this year there were a lot more people out, and maybe I'm wrong, but I just felt like there were a lot more people out and about this year.
yeah, I know Joe mentioned it was like the week before Memorial Day, and he's like, there's a lot of cars, a lot more than normal. And he's like, this is nothing. He's like, just be prepared for like Thursday, Friday. And no joke. I mean, Thursday, 7 a.m., there were probably 10 cars out there already. It was,
really?
Wow.
It was incredible. So, I mean, our hours are 7 to 3:30, and the whole 7 to 3:30, there were constantly people coming and going. It was crazy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
They're like, we're getting here early.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like weekends, I'd drive out there just out of curiosity because of how busy it was during the week. And yeah, I'm glad we weren't working on the weekends.
Oh, really?
We wouldn't have
And
gotten,
maneuver around
we
those
wouldn't
little-
have gotten anything
those little
done.
roads.
Yeah, it's
Right.
crazy.
That's crazy. So now it's a little bit less now that Memorial Day is over.
Yeah, there's regulars there that you see every day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I bet there's 20 or 25 people that you
Regulars.
see every day.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's shocking because like for me before I took this position, like I never really went and visited cemeteries, and so it's just crazy to see from a different perspective like how many people do care about the cemeteries and go out there every day.
Every day.
Yeah.
Well, and you're pretty new in your position. Tell us a little bit about how you got started as being the cemetery supervisor.
So this is month 3.
Wow.
Nice.
So you jumped in the deep end of the pool first with Memorial
Yes,
Day.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. And so, I worked for the Parks and Rec for the last 2 years. And then after the stuff happened last fall, and then Rich leaving, I kind of had a little bit of interest in it. And then I wanted that all to kind of calm down. I didn't want to jump right into the fire. And so I stayed through winter. And then I decided to make the move come springtime, and I figured that's a good time to get a fresh start.
Right.
And it's a new year, and so maybe set some guidelines and rules and kind of just get it going in the positive direction.
Right. Yeah. And I feel like you are. Like, I think, everyone is we're all set in our ways. So when something new, you're like, but wait,
That's not how it's
that's
been done.
not how this works. But I think now I feel like people are seeing too that it's not just like, well, here are the rules and these are the rules that you're going to have to abide by, but you're also making improvements, and you've definitely showed that during Memorial Day. I mean, and I think people who go there every day, they see what you do every day all the time. But when someone comes literally only for, say, Memorial Day or any kind of holiday, that might make them kind of, stop. But I feel like what you're doing is, I think people are seeing that.
Yeah, and Quinn, tell us a little bit about your background, right? Because you bring something unique to the cemetery.
So my background is in turf grass and horticulture.
Nice.
I ran my own landscape business for 7 years and still ongoing.
Okay.
I do it after hours. And then turf grass, I've always been a fan of turf grass. I love sports. And so that's why the parks interested me. So I took that position. I loved being around the ball fields. And so I was used to irrigated turf grass. And so there is a learning curve. I haven't really dealt with much non-irrigated grass before. I mean, parks and stuff, they weren't irrigated, but there are a lot of shade. So there is a learning curve. So we've started overseeding, but I'm kind of learning. We did a full overseed of Sunrise North.
Okay.
And I'd say it was like a 50% germination rate, which is significantly lower than irrigated. And so I'm starting to learn that instead of going with the big full picture, I just picked spots, and so that way it's easier to get going. It's just going to be a slower moving process than I anticipated, but I think people are starting to buy in, and that it's good to see, because taking a new position, everybody has high expectations, and then you immediately start out and you're like, well, hopefully.
Come on, grass, grow.
Exactly, yeah. And the first one didn't help at all because Mother Nature was not on our side. And lately, she's been helping out a lot. So, especially before Memorial Day, getting all that rain.
Yeah.
Made everything green up and made it look a lot nicer out there.
So you're talking about the grass. What other things are you doing like this summer and stuff to, I don't know, make improvements or maintain, I guess? Yeah.
So a lot of our focus right now between Joe and I is trying to make things less maintenance. So we're trying to push foundation extensions so that way people can put their vases on the foundation, so that way there's no trimming in between the vases and the headstone.
Okay.
Just little stuff like that. High traffic areas, like we noticed during Memorial Day, where the Veterans Memorial is, there's a high traffic area over there. So we've talked about pouring a sidewalk there, so that way they have a nice sidewalk to walk on. Same with the firefighter memorial. I'd like to do something over there because those are both super high traffic areas.
Right.
And so just to have something there that we don't have to worry about it getting worn down and constantly trying to make it look good every year. Just have that permanent concrete there, and then we can make everything else look good around it.
Well, and I like that too, because you do have, some people that might be unsteady on their feet. So having a sidewalk would be a nice little add to them too. And it would just look it would look nice too. So yeah, I think it would be good all around. So that's awesome.
And I feel like there's been a push for the more of the beautification end of it too. Obviously there's a lot of mowing and trimming and stuff, but there's been a lot of like more aesthetic things going on at the cemetery too, I've noticed.
Yes. Yeah. So the bad thing is when we slow down, that means grass slows down, which means it's hot.
Right.
A lot of times right now we're getting to the stage where grass is slowing down. So that means our projects will pick up.
Okay.
So I know that me and Joe have talked about a few different things. We've talked about doing stuff around the entryways at Sunrise and then also at Greenwood. So we're trying to give a little curb appeal to them, so that way it's more inviting. We started doing some of that before Memorial Day, but we kind of want to take it the extra step and just keep pushing.
Keep moving. Yeah,
we don't want to stay stagnant. We want to keep doing stuff, and that way we keep getting more of the public support, because that way they can see like, oh, they're making baby steps towards stuff. So that's the big thing, because there are a lot of people that have eyes on it at all times.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a lot of regulars.
Yes. Hey there, listeners. Quick question. When was the last time you actually looked forward to going to the dentist? Yeah, we didn't think so.
But that might change after you meet Wahoo Creek Dental right here in Wahoo, Nebraska. Whether you're ready to straighten things out with orthodontics, restore your smile with some dental implants, or you're in a hurry and need a same-day crown, they've got you covered with the latest technology and a hometown touch. And here with us is Dr. Foland himself.
Glad to be here. Same-day crowns means no more wearing those awkward temporaries for weeks. You walk in, we scan, design, and place it the same day. We aim to provide a full suite of treatments with a personalized touch just for you.
So, if your teeth could use a little love, or you just want a dentist who treats you just like he would treat his mom, check out Wahoo Creek Dental.
Your smile will thank you. And hey, tell them your favorite podcast sent you. Well, speaking of public support, do you want to talk to us a little bit about the committee that's been formed to kind of help out the cemetery?
Yeah, absolutely. So last October, November timeframe, there was an attempt to, bring a little bit more beauty, a little bit more community support and community engagement into the cemetery. And there was a call to arms or a call to, help, and several folks stood up, and we've now got a standing cemetery committee that consists of, 5 just kind of civilians. Citizens.
At large. Cemetery nerds.
Cemetery nerds. 2 board members, Quinn and Joe Wynn, who's a cemetery sexton. And then the mayor will sit on that, and Melissa Harrell, the city administrator. But from that community engagement perspective, kind of the thought was if we can get the community engaged and we can get some of the folks that have maybe their ear a little closer to the ground or have some networks, it could help bring just kind of that extra pop that we're looking for out of the cemetery. So
That's good. I mean, I think that's helped a lot. I think, again, it's that whole thing of just bringing light to things that can happen out at the cemetery, and that you don't have to be Quinn, who has a job out there, to help appreciate it and, help with, I just love that there is a committee.
Yeah, and you're hitting on something that's really important, Kate, is that there's an operational expectation, right? A maintenance expectation of the cemetery. And that is really what and this is just Jason talking as a
committee member.
Is that's what we want our cemetery staff to focus on.
Sure.
The ideation and things that we could be doing should come from the committee.
Right.
And we're getting a lot of fantastic ideas, right? We've got a lot of folks that born and raised here. We've got folks that maybe weren't born and raised here, but have a lot of great ideas for what we can do to help, lower that kind of maintenance overhead that Quinn was talking about, and to, again, just kind of bring a different level of engagement to the community.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And I love the flowers that greet you from right when you drive into the gate. And I know that, wasn't it a committee member that gave those?
A couple committee members. Yeah.
Okay.
So if you haven't been out in the cemetery, I encourage everybody to go out there. You'll see some things that the kind of the maintenance side of the house has done. They've cleaned up the plaques. We've had Catherine from Found and Flora has been a huge help, and not even help. That's not the right word. She's brought a level of kind of beauty to the cemetery, right? And then Linda Little had made a donation of some planters. Now, along with that, then I believe we had the planters that were donated. I believe Quinn and Joe, you guys poured the foundations and kind of added to it, right? And so, So you kind of see this, and I'm not a big fan of this word, but you see the synergy occurring between, what we should be doing operationally and maintenance-wise, and then kind of the beautification. How do you make the cemetery a little more welcoming?
And I do love that. And that, again, just it's goofy to say, but just pouring concrete. But it looks great.
It's crazy how much it cleans up.
Yes.
We poured pads underneath trash cans. You think pads underneath trash cans, who's going to notice? But
right.
It just cleans it up so much more.
Yes.
And adds that polish.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
And so, that was kind of a big thing. We were talking about doing pavers underneath them. Why don't we just pour a slab?
Right.
And that way it's done with. We don't have to worry about settling or anything like that. And we always have a spot every year. So in the winter, we can put them away and bring them right back out in the spring and get them planted.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think that's great.
Well, it was really amazing to me how fast this whole planter thing kind of came about. I think I got a phone call from Joe, and he's like, hey, when we do the pickup, we get a lot of planters, planted plants. There's the silk flowers and the bushes that people set out, but they also bring out those live plants in pots.
Oh, sure, sure.
And you guys get a whole bunch of them, a pickup load of planters. And it's what can we do with these to add beauty to our cemetery and not, let them go to waste?
Right.
And so he's like, hey, it'd be nice if we have these planters. Well, Linda comes strolling in. I'm like, hey, Linda. It'd be nice if they had some planters. And then you guys were like right behind us and, grabbed the planters, did the concrete. I'm thinking like, okay, after Memorial Day, like we'll get this done. No, I mean, the concrete was poured, the planters were out there, and it was immediate.
Yeah.
And so it was wonderful.
And I love that it was ready to go. So then when you were there at Memorial Day, you were like, ooh, what's happening here? Like
This is new.
Yeah.
Yeah. The timing I think was perfect for Memorial Day. So, in my social network, right, I tend to hang out with a bunch of grumpy old men, like at the Vets Club and things like that. But there was so much positive feedback, not direct. It was just like I would listen to folks and they'd be like, my gosh, I don't know what's happening out at the cemetery, but it looks amazing. And I think that's telling, right? That's
People
a
are
huge
noticing.
step in a direction.
Yes.
Right. A direction. And again, for a bunch of grumpy old dudes to be like, hey, this looks really good out here. It's huge. And so, again, thanks to Quinn and Joe and then the committee. Again, there's so many great ideas thumping around right now out there. So it's good.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So what can we look forward to coming up? I know you guys were talking about a date for some fun.
Yeah, we're planning a little
activity.
party out at the cemetery.
Yeah.
A very tame lemonade social as a chamber after hours. And we just kind of wanted to invite the public to come out and look at, all the things that have been painted, the new concrete and kind of the new spiff ups that, has been happening in like the last 3 months,
Right.
And so we've got, lemonade and some snacks and maybe some fun facts about some people that are buried out there. And so, I think it'll be a good time.
I think that will be a good time. Do you want to say the date?
Yeah, we could. It's next Thursday, June 19th
Okay.
from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m.
Okay. And we just come in and we'll see you guys there.
Yeah.
Set up.
We've got a tent that we'll have a little pop-up tent and we'll have refreshments. And so come and wander around and these guys will be on hand to ask any questions and, you can come tell them how great it looks.
Nice. That's exciting.
I think
I
that'll
love
be
it.
at the KOH or the not Sunrise North, correct?
Right.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
By the veterans area.
Yeah.
The
Okay.
old veterans area, not
Right
the new
on the
memorial on the
entrance,
north
right?
side.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
don't know what it's properly called. By the cannon.
By the cannon. So, yeah.
By the cannon.
Yep.
Perfect. Well, and that's easy to find. You're right there. So,
Yep.
all right. Well,
Yeah.
that'll be good.
Mm-hmm.
Was there anything else that we missed or we didn't ask a question about that's happening at the cemetery that we need to know about?
So I'm gonna help people toot their horns real quick, right? Because folks tend to be humble. So from my prior experience of being the assistant out there for about a year and a half, and then seeing kind of the transformation of what Quinn's bringing to the table, of just kind of the speed, maybe the focus, maybe that's the word, right? There was this very detailed kind of cleanup that occurred, like the plaques on the front of both KOH and Sunrise North. They were buffed, they were painted. It was all of that, and then I think all these folks are really humble, but they should be very proud of themselves. I think, and again, the other thing that came back from the veterans community here in town was the cannon got painted, the flagpole was painted, they lit up the flagpole, they're flying a flag there now. It was just these little subtle things that were occurring very quietly. And again, I just would encourage folks to go out and take a look and just see what your city and your committee is trying to give back to your community.
Yeah. Yeah. And if Quinn's out there, go say hello.
Yeah. I'll probably look really angry, but I promise you I'm going to get that.
You're just mad at the turf grass is not
I'm
growing.
just focused in, so I'm not mad at anyone. Yeah. So yeah, come up, say hi. Another thing I'd like to just huge shout out to all our volunteers, our committee. I was pretty nervous about the committee when I first got told, like, hey, we're going to meet every month. I'm like,
oh,
okay.
anotut meeting, great. Don't you know I've got things to mow and all this trimming to do?
Yeah,
Right,
people are
right.
going to come and complain monthly to me. That's nice. But, no, it's been awesome. The public feedback's been incredible. Even if it's negative, like we still need to hear that stuff. That way we can be better. Big shout out to you and Linda for donating your planters and plants and your time, and huge shout out to the street department. They were out there every day for the entire week leading up to Memorial Day. So me and Dean would have been scratching and clawing if we didn't have their help. So yeah, they helped get all the grunt work done so that way the beautification could happen. So, but no, it's fun. I like being a part of the public and letting them be open to talking to me. So
Mm-hmm.
please come out, say hi. Promise I won't bite.
Just real quick, tell us how long it takes to mow the cemetery. Like,
Oh, yeah,
just like
that's
a little
good.
fun fact on hours.
Yeah.
Like, how long do you spend on the mower?
Yeah.
Getting that done?
We have 2 guys out there full time, and Dean does a lot of the locates for us. So he's gone usually 5 to 8 hours a week in the mornings, and it takes us right around 70 hours to mow and trim everything weekly.
Wow.
So we have roughly 3 hours to spare, and that's just mowing. And so you add burials or foundation pours on top of that, and there is stuff that doesn't get touched weekly. But
Sure.
we're trying to be more efficient. We're trying to come up with better ways. So
Sure.
yeah, we're not pushing it off. We just don't have enough hours in the day.
Those 3 hours
Yes.
are
Right.
precious
So,
few.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Right.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
we're trying to get more efficient. So slowly but surely.
Sure.
Well, and I think it's already happening. When you
Yeah.
stopped by on cleanup day, you came by to let us know that the planters were picked up and we could go and plant them. And I was like, oh, how's cleanup going? You know, I'm thinking, okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's a big project. This is noon on Monday. And I'm like, how's cleanup going? And he's like, we're done. And I'm like, how are you done picking up everything? You know, I saw the cemetery. It was full.
It was.
So-
And yeah, the city of Wahoo, the people of Wahoo coming out and getting their stuff. I mean, you guys did a good job of coming and getting it, because I don't want to pick up your stuff,
Right.
but it's part of the rules. It makes our jobs easier.
Right.
So I appreciate everyone that came out and got it. That was super nice and saved us a lot of time. So I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, and those rules aren't because you want to be mean, right? Like you're
Yeah.
not saying pick up your stuff because you just don't want to deal with it. It kind of gets to be like a hazard too. Like when you guys are doing like the mowing and trimming, you know, some of that stuff that's sitting there,
Right.
you know, gets to be a hazard for the crew.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Yeah, and things that folks may not know, right there, we've found bullets. We've found
Like live ammunition.
live
Like,
ammunition,
not bullet
yeah,
casings.
Yes, 100%.
Like live ammunition.
Live ammunition. Not good, right? If it falls in the grass, you hit it with the mower. These are the things that,
Right.
that are the safety concerns, right? And it really boils down to that. Like we're just trying to minimize accidents, damage to equipment, and overall beauty of the cemetery, right? And so I think Quinn hit it right on the head, though. It's been beautiful. It's been really, really cool. And we've had, and I think he had done the shout out, we've had just folks come in and help, right? Something that we did different this year and something that was brought up during kind of the committee meetings that we've had is like, as you alluded to earlier, Catherine, we've had these leftover flowers in the past. And a lot of times they would just rot, they would die, who knows
Right.
what would happen to
Right.
them. That re-gifting of those flowers back into the planters has been huge. The other thing is like with the silk flowers, right? Those, like looking for the options to donate those. What else can we do with those, right? We don't want to just toss them into a landfill. But you know, I think it's interesting to note that there's a lot of folks that don't come back for their stuff, right?
Right.
They live out of town or, you know,
100%.
Right,
come
right.
So yeah, I think as the committee continues to have these wonderful ideas, as Quinn and Dean and Joe are thinking this whole engagement, I think we've already seen the good things come out of it. Some beautiful things come out of it. So I think again, it's really cool.
more to come.
Yeah. Yeah.
100%.
Well, and I would definitely say to come out for your guys's after hours, because I'm excited. I mean, I go out there quite often, but I don't get the fun facts. So get your fun facts ready.
Right?
I'm
There's some
excited.
interesting people buried out there.
I was going to say, I'm excited about that. I go to like
Yeah.
one area.
No, there's a whole bunch to see.
Yeah. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. Well, you guys, thank you so much for being here. This was great.
Yeah, thanks for coming to share. I think there's a lot of things that go on that, you know, people just don't
understand.
Yeah, don't know about.
Yeah.
So, unless they're out there every day.
Every single day. Yeah.
Yes. Well, thank you guys for having us. It's fun to get our voice out there so that way people see us in a different light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, everybody, thanks for listening. And don't forget
To keep it local, friends.
This has been a Chamber Chat
With Kate,
and Kat.
see you next time.